All right, good evening. I'd like to call to order the November 6th public hearing for the City of Tampa's Architectural Review Commission. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ted Kempton, Chair of the Commission. If you are here to present a project, you will have limited time to make your presentation, so we suggest being thorough but concise. When coming to the microphone, you will need to identify yourself and your relationship to the project. The commissioners will not ask any questions during your presentation. Your project should be presented in the following order: site plan, elevations, architectural details, wall sections. Staff will then present their report. We will then ask for public comment. Please state and spell your name clearly if you are here to speak for or against the project. Your time will be limited to 3 minutes, so take some time now to summarize your comments because 3 minutes goes by very quickly. Following public comment, the commissioners will ask questions in the same order as the presentation. Next, the applicant will have 5 minutes for rebuttal. The public hearing will then be closed. After the public hearing is closed, no further testimony can be given. The commissioners will then discuss the case and will make their decision based on Chapter 27 of the City Code of Ordinances, the design guidelines, the Secretary of Interior standards, Historic Preservation Development Review Committee comments, and the testimony given at the public hearing. The ARC can only act on items that are within our specific jurisdictional responsibility. Owner agents are independently responsible to obtain any appropriate permits and/or approvals. If you haven't already done so, please silence cell phones. And I'll start on my left with introductions of other commissioners.
Elena Ketchum, Attorney Representative.
John Prokop, I practice architecture.
Tim Jones, contractor.
All right, and also we have Ron Vila, Jared Varnum, and our attorney, Dana Crosby Collier.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ron Vila, I'm a planner with Historic Preservation. Moving down our agenda items, we'll have legal entertain the board at this time.
Hi, Dana Crosby Collier, City Attorney's Office. I'd like to ask if any member has a conflict of interest with any item on the agenda today.
I do not.
Thank you. And has any member engaged in ex parte communication regarding any item on the agenda?
I have not.
Thank you.
Thank you. There are no continuations reflected, so at this time, everybody that wishes to testify, please stand up and raise your right hand. Mr. Varnum will swear us in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony being provided today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you, Jared. Moving to our first agenda item, which is ARC-25-00000444. This is for the address of 907 South Bruce Street. This is in the Hyde Park Historic District. There is one contributing structure there that dates back to 1924. That's the primary structure. Their underlying zoning is RS 50. Their request is for a certificate of appropriateness for new construction. They're going to do a rear and second story addition with site improvements. Some of the past action, there was some work done to the detached garage in 2024. And at this time, I'd like to move through the photo presentation. Starting with the Sanborn map. This is from 1929. Area in question is highlighted. It's in between Bristol to the north. You have Morrison to the south. It is on Bruce. And then you see what was CSX, the railroad in the background, is now the crosstown. There is an alley that runs north to south behind this particular parcel, but it terminates, it doesn't go through, so it's kind of an unused alley, if you will. This is our vicinity map, just to show it in perspective, approximately where it's at. You see Hyde Park Village to the east, and it's just to the west of Hyde Park Village. It's a small cottage, craftsman style. You see the formal entrance, you see the stoop, and the cover over that, which is better defined here. Does have some brackets. This is the north elevation. Obviously, there's a lot of trees around there. It's hard to get some shots there. Just to show you some of the houses on this block. This is abutting to the north. Going back to the subject site. This is the front facade and the south elevation. This is the budding structure to the south. If you notice, they're all modest homes, one story of the Craftsman style. This is looking down the street. This is to the north on Bruce. Turning around, looking at the south. You see the traditional street. This has a radius curb, the parkway, and then the sidewalk. Directly across the street, as I talked about the one-story modest homes on this block. Going back to the subject site, this is the vehicular access into the site. As you get behind that vehicle there, there's a gate. Here you see the lap siding, you see the foundation, how it almost comes all the way down. You see the trim, the exposure of the trim and the siding. You see the lap of the siding. It's a little larger, probably 6 to 7 inches. This is the non-contributing accessory structure that they did some work to. Going to the rear. In the backyard, they had multiple accessory structures. As part of the review process, some of my colleagues in zoning told them that they needed to clean that up. On their drawings this evening, you'll see what's existing. It'll show that these structures are there, and what's proposed, these structures have been eliminated. They'll be removed as it goes towards permitting. I wanted to share with you this particular block and why I mentioned the vernacular of the block. There's a series of these smaller cottages, Craftsman-style homes. This one came forward and received the addition in the rear with a porte-cochere on the side and a bonus room up top. This also was reviewed and approved by your colleagues. You see the front portion, one story, and then the addition to the rear. And then lastly, across the street, something very similar. You have the cross ridge here, and then the massing to the rear. This one also had a variance attached to it that was approved. But I thought it was important to share with you what's, your colleagues have approved and what's in front of you this evening. With that, I'll conclude and I'll hand it over to the agent.
Thank you, Ron.
Good evening, my name is Hansel, the architect for this project. Just want to confirm you can see that. Okay, great. All right, so let's start with the site plan. So on top of the sheet is the existing site plan. As Ron mentioned, there are a couple of detached accessory structures. Most of those will be removed with the exception of the garage that is grandfathered in. And then we also have a shed here that is currently within the setbacks. So the intention is to relocate that shed. We also have a covered patio here as well that will be removed. And then the gray area shows the existing main house. Below is the new site plan, so in the yellow is shown the new addition, where we plan to add some living space and then a covered patio in the back. This shows a relocated shed that now meets the standards of the zoning setbacks. Additionally, this site also was 100% impervious, and one of our intention is to remove as much impervious as possible, and we're gonna bring it back down to 53%. So we're gonna remove a lot of the turf, and then we're gonna resod the site. Next sheet over here is the front elevation, with the existing being shown on the bottom, and then the proposed on top. So most of the main story in the main front is gonna be kept intact, and then we have the second story shown beyond. The next sheet over is gonna show the rear elevation, where most of our improvements will be made. And on the ground floor, it shows the covered patio, and then a second floor living space above. And then we have gables to match the features of the house. Next sheet over is gonna be the side elevation. This shows a better perspective of the covered patio from the sides, the concrete stairs with the landing, and then the living space above as well. And then as you can see, we are starting the addition about 1/3 of the way of the main house from the back as well. Next sheet over is the side elevation. This sheet right here shows the building section. It is a wood frame house, so we will continue that with the first and the second story. And then we will continue to replicate the same details with the solid wood trim, recessed windows, exposed rafters. Next sheet over shows some of the architectural details as far as the dimensions are concerned with the solid wood trim that will match. We also have the corner trim that will be mitered and the solid wood trim around the doors. And here's the material palette. So again, we'll continue the features of the exposed rafters, the decorative knee braces facing the street, the wood beadboard, and the wood trim around the windows. The roofing will be asphalt shingles. The railings for the back stairs and landing will be aluminum in this kind of picket style. The siding will be composite siding, and we plan to use one with a smaller exposure width as well to give some differentiation from the main house to the addition. This is one of the lightings as well, or the Craftsman style. Door hardware that also matches that style. And trim will be composite trim. This is one of the doors that we have under the selection, which will be a solid wood door. This is our patio ceiling, which will be tongue and groove. And these are some of the quick renderings I did as well. It was important to emphasize that the addition will be on the back 1/3 of the house, and that it's not going to overpower the front main portion of the house as it's intact right now. And then this is a front-on perspective. And another perspective as well, from the corner. Okay, with that said, I'll get into the conditions of the staff report. The first item on the list was our method of shielding mechanicals from the right-of-way. So on the site plan, I showed the mechanicals will be on the north side, and then we're gonna add some landscaping to shield the equipment from the street. The next item was showing any fencing on site. At this time, we're not gonna introduce any fencing, so we're gonna leave it as existing. Next item was dimension separation of eave to eave to meet code. That's highlighted here in the red circles. And our minimum separation needs to be 5 feet, and we achieved that on all the corners. Next item was to revisit the impervious. As I mentioned before, the lot was completely covered, 100% impervious. By removing the turf, the accessory structures, and resodding, we were able to bring it back down from 100 to 53%. The next item was explore alternative window selection for addition. The suggestion was made to have 1/1. So we went ahead and did that as well. So that shows more differentiation from the main house to the addition. Next item was to illustrate the installation of corner boards and trim. So we're gonna have miter composite trim, and that matches the features of the house. The next item was to review and incorporate historically correct foundations. I went ahead and corrected that since the last time you guys may have seen that on the review. And currently, as it is right now, as Ron mentioned, the siding stops about a foot or so before it hits the grade. And it's showing brick piers with a lattice in between. So what we decided to do is we'll do a stem wall with stucco and then vents for ventilation. And that's typically what we do to differentiate between the new and the old. The next item was to submit a perspective view from the street. I provided 3 renderings for review. Provided demolition plan. I have floor plans of existing and new for both floors, in case any of you will be interested in looking at that, but this is the existing demolition plan. And then most of the house is gonna stay intact, with exception of the rear existing patio. And I just want to mention a couple of houses as well. Our house, we're adding about 546 square feet total. We have another house in the neighborhood, 1905 West Bristol. They added about 2,800 square feet. I would say it's similar in scale to ours, where they also recessed 1/3 of the addition on the back of the house. And then they also show the living space being further recessed as well too. So we're matching that project that was also approved. We also have 905 South Bruce Street. They added about 1771. They also did the addition in the back, except they also have the carport that also extends to the side setback. That was actually originally one of the very first conceptual plans, but then speaking with Ron, we went ahead and removed that from the scope of work, and we reduced the second floor addition. Then we have 911 South Bruce Street. Again, just another precedent that shows second floor additions in the back 1/3 of the house. And 904 South Bruce, same features as well, except this one has a carport as well coming off the side. And that will conclude my presentation.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Ron Vila, I'm a planner with Historic Preservation. In working with their team and evaluating the plans that were submitted on October 15th, staff feels that this application is consistent with the Hyde Park Design Guidelines. Through the photo essay, I tried to get the point across that it's a small cottage and, they're doing an addition. It's very difficult at times to add square footage, two-story square footage, or two-story volume to this cottage. What we try to do is initially when it came in, it had a lot of hip roofs on it. The hip roofs were removed and they've incorporated a gable roof. The corners of the two-story were brought in from the width of the one-story house. The volume from floor to the ceiling on the second floor was revisited and that was brought down. And then we incorporated one of our windows to distinguish what's new and what's older. So because of those reasons, staff found it was consistent. He did go through the staff report. I think he left out a couple of items. The hardscape to show what's he's intending to do. He's taken out some of the materials that are there, but to show what's there. We also had him to reconsider the columns, the structural columns in the rear. I don't know if that was addressed or not. I'd like for tonight to be discussed the wall section from the ridge all the way to the foundation, to call out what materials are there on the wall section. And then through his presentation, he spoke about composite materials that is not something that we approve at this board or administratively. So the siding needs to be a wood siding, the trim needs to be a wood trim around it. He did not call out what windows, the manufacturer of the windows, are they wood windows, are they cladded windows? That should be discussed as well. And lastly, or two more things, the lighting and hardware, if he has references for that, to incorporate that into tonight's hearing. And then also the railings, he talked about a metal railing. That railing should be a wood railing to complement the craftsman style home that's there now. That concludes my portion. I'll be here to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Ron. Is there anybody in the public that's here to speak for or against this project? Okay, not seeing anyone. I'll start on my left with questions.
So you heard Mr. Vila with the various, so for the items that need to be wood, like the railing and the siding and the windows, and are y'all open to having them be wood as opposed to
Yes.
composite?
Yeah, we could do wood siding, we could do wood railings, and we could do aluminum wood clad windows.
Okay. And then the hardscape, can you note which, I guess what you're taking out and what's staying?
Yes.
and-
When it comes to hardscaping, the existing concrete ribbons are gonna stay, the existing brick ribbons are gonna stay as well. As I mentioned before, there was a lot of turf, so all that turf will be replaced and then resodded. As far as any new hardscape, it will probably be pavers, which we haven't selected yet.
Okay, and then, I think you showed the hardware, right, the lighting and the
Yes,
door handle. Just look at those one more time. There they are.
and my clients are very flexible, we can change this around.
Okay, I'm gonna pass the questioning for more specific.
Hey, how you doing? Can you bring up, can you address the window specifically, the new windows? Are you replacing anything in the existing house? Or are all the existing windows in the main house remaining?
Yes, all those existing windows are gonna remain.
Okay,
correct.
so we're only talking about new windows in the addition.
That is
portion
correct,
of the
yes, and then the rear wall, correct.
Clarify that, and the rear wall of the original house?
Right here. Since we're modifying the layout on the back of the house,
Okay,
these windows will be.
so they're not part of the addition, they are part of the original house.
Let me go
Just
to-
trying to, I'm just trying to get clear on all that.
Actually, yes, correct. These windows are gonna stay existing, yes.
Okay. All right, that's, we're trying to figure that out. And you mentioned something about aluminum, you just said aluminum wood-clad windows. What does that mean? Or did you mean wood?
Wood-cladded aluminum windows,
No, there would be aluminum-cladded wood windows.
correct, that, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's wood on the inside, but it's aluminum on the outside. Can I ask staff? As part of an addition, is an aluminum-clad wood window appropriate?
That has been something that has been approved by the board,
Approved,
and we do approve that administratively as
But
well.
not vinyl-clad windows?
Either or, you know.
We've done vinyl-clad wood?
Yes, you have,
we?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we look at the true wood window on the footprint of the original house. If there's any
Right.
replacement.
Correct.
It has to be a true wood window.
Correct.
On the additions, we use a cladded window, a wood window, so the proportions stay the same. And then you
Right.
have the veneer on the exterior for maintenance reasons.
Right.
But that
Gotcha.
could either be aluminum or a vinyl.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you bring up, do you have a brand of window that you're planning on using? Is that because now it's changing, you don't know?
Yeah, but typically we'll refer to Pella, which is commonly
Okay.
used.
Can you bring up the wall section again that you
Yes.
have? Okay, zoom into the top right, like we need to see it close enough so we can see the words and whatnot. Okay, so the word composite will change to wood,
Correct,
right? The beadboard, I assume, is wood.
yes.
Okay, asphalt shingle, flashing. Okay, you can slide down. Okay, the word composite siding again changed.
Correct.
How does the siding terminate at the bottom of the existing house? I know it goes down close to the ground. How does it terminate? I think I saw in one of the photos, it looks like there's some sort of like a drip trim or something at the bottom of the siding, or is that wrong? Or is that just a, it was a photograph.
Let me see. if you're on.
You stand up.
So I was looking at what that dark gray, black stripe is below the numbers and the date.
I think that's just a shadow.
What is that?
That's a shadow.
Well, the light gray portion below the shadow?
It looks like there's something sitting on the
Are you referring to
paver.
this line right here?
Well, that's the shadow. To the left of that, right to the left of that is another light gray thing. Is that a different color paint, or what is that?
I think that's just, is that the
I
concrete?
think it's a paver that's sitting on the ground there because we don't want animals to go under the house. It's just blocking an opening.
But
Okay,
there's,
s-
but
It's,
there's
I think it's
nothing
the lattice, it's the lattice.
But there's nothing sitting on the paver? It
Okay.
looks like it, but.
All right, so, it's just siding that just terminates. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Siding is terminating, okay. And then, of course, you went to your railings and you had aluminum railings, and we just want to make sure if you can bring that detail up,
Yes, we.
where that's called out.
We can do wood.
It was up a little higher there, yeah, that stuff. There's a pretty consistent Craftsman wood railing post and picket design that's pretty common throughout Hyde Park that, again, if this, I think what's going on is if this was an addition, if this was a freestanding, you could do other things.
Correct.
But because it's an addition to an original fabric house contributing feature, you have to do things a
Correct.
little bit different. Okay, all right. Also, are you aware of what 53% pervious means to site drainage? I mean, I'll let you handle that, but, I'll let it go. Never mind, no other questions.
Yes,
No other questions.
But I am aware, yes.
Okay, you deal with that.
And if you could ask about the back, because I think whether or not any windows on the original are being,
Yeah, so can you pull up, first of all, the elevation, which would be on the, if you're standing at the front of the house to the left side where the old kitchen location was, you're taking out a window there and putting in a new
Okay,
window.
okay, yes, I can show that.
Yeah, so that
Yes.
window there, you're taking out and you're putting in a new window.
That's correct, yes.
So what are you using for that new window? Because that's part of the original structure.
I was stuck on that because it's technically part of the addition, but then it's also
Oh,
adjacent
no,
to
it's
the
part of
original
it's part of the
windows.
original house. That is where the original kitchen was, is behind that window, correct?
Yeah, but that wall is further recessed in a couple feet because this area right here was the covered patio. This area right here.
Right.
That's a new addition.
No, but that wall is currently there.
No,
Further
no, it's
back.
not. This is a new exterior wall.
Oh,
The existing
Okay.
window is way further back than that plane.
Let me show you the floor plan and
Yeah.
that should clear it up.
so why on
This
that?
window right
So
here.
why on that, why wouldn't you have noted on your floor plans that that entire wall was being removed? So you're just bumping out that wall in the corner? I'm sorry?
This wall's gonna stay and that'll
Okay.
become an interior wall.
Okay,
And then our new walls will come up to
Okay.
here and then go flush.
got it, I understand now, okay, all right, thank you. On your wall detail, that makes more sense, thank you, that clarifies it. On your wall detail,
Yes,
we need to get a dimension on your soffit overhang to make sure that it matches the existing. Can you make sure that detail gets on there? When you redo your wall detail to go all the way up to the gable, if you can make sure that
absolutely.
that
yes.
dimension goes on there? In your presentation, you said that the siding was gonna be a smaller exposure. What size exposure are you gonna have?
We could go down to 4 inches. Again, that was a recommendation made by Ron to change the
Right.
width.
Yep. Again, just need to have that called out somewhere so that way staff can approve that exposure.
Yes,
What we don't want to see is a 2-inch exposure, that'd be terrible. Okay, we talked about that. Can you pull your site plan back up again, please? I'm sorry.
yes.
You're gonna have scroller's finger by the time you get done. Scroll into your new. So zoning requires that we have parking for 2 cars. Where are we gonna put a second car on this property?
We show it right here, the 2 required parking spaces. I know it's hard to see, yes.
Oh, okay. So you're not gonna continue the ribbon drive What, how are you gonna, you just gonna pour solid concrete there? Is that,
That's already there right now.
oh, that's already there?
Yeah, yeah, this is there right now.
But now there's a metal fence that's separating the front from the rear. Are you removing that metal fencing?
It opens, you can drive
There's two, it's a two-car.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's a, yeah, it's for
Okay,
cars.
'cause in the pictures we saw, it looked like it was partially stationary, so, okay, all right. That answers that question. Answers that question. Okay, that's all my questions, thank you.
All right, let's stay on this one. All right, so the fencing, previously you said you were not doing fencing. So is the existing fence staying, going? What's,
It's staying.
okay, so you're gonna have fencing there but nowhere else?
Well, part of this review, we weren't gonna propose any changes to the fence at all.
Well, you said there would be no fencing, so.
Oh,
So
there is
show me
fencing
where-
there, but we're not
So show me on
proposing
the
any
site plan
changes.
where the fencing is, because I don't see it. I saw it in the photograph, but I
There's
don't see
one
it.
right here with the survey, so it's 6 inch right here. And then we also have a wall coming across here.
Okay. And that's a 6-foot wall?
Yes, that's what it looks like, yep.
Okay. So, but there's no fence from that existing 6-foot wall that connects south to the house
Right here?
on the north side?
Oh, right here?
Well, up towards that, yeah.
Looks
There-
like we got a 3-foot metal fence.
So I guess my question would be, you got on here that you're screening mechanical with landscaping, but if there's a fence, would that, okay. I've got audience participation, I can see that. Got it, okay. Let's see, all right. I've been asked to ask about the 53%. I thought it was pretty clear. What was your question? They're
Well-
removing all the synthetic turf and you're down to 53%, so you don't have to do any of it.
53% impervious.
Impervious,
I thought 50% was the cutoff.
but it's 53%.
Impervious.
Oh, is it 53%?
If you stay under
impervious or pervious?
50%, if you go over 50%, you have to add a 1/2 inch retainers on site. There is a clause, grandfather clause, if it was impervious prior to 2018, then they'll go ahead and basically let that slide. But we can, if it comes down to it, we can find another 3% to remove somewhere.
Well, I mean, if not, you're gonna have to put it underground in your sod areas.
Yeah, the reason I say that, the city
That's fine.
doesn't speak about that clause, but it does exist.
Yeah, okay, but you've got places to put it.
Okay.
All right,
I just wanted it to be brought up, that's
yeah.
all.
Okay, got that. All right, so the back landing, I saw on your drawing, you keep saying it's concrete, but I saw on a drawing that it's brick stairs. So what is that material for that back landing gonna be?
It is concrete, yeah.
Okay, because like that site plan says brick and there was another one. So let me ask you this, why wouldn't you do brick?
We're open to, if it's
Well,
brick, we
I'm
can do
asking
brick.
why you were going with
We,
concrete.
I didn't get that far into
Okay.
the selection process.
Okay. Okay. All right, and then if you go to your elevation, the front elevation, all right, that one right there. Your windows on the left of the addition are offset. And like one's really close to the side of the house. Is there a functional
Yes, I
reason
was
for that?
also,
Okay.
I was made aware of that by the client as well, and that just has to do with the functionality of the layout on the inside, so I'll show you that. That's why I really couldn't make it work from the outside. And it's simply because we're gonna have those transom windows here centered within the walls.
Okay,
So you have the shower wall, and then you have the exterior wall, and then obviously the window centered in the shower.
okay.
That's something that we could possibly look into changing that.
Okay.
We're flexible on that.
And then the back of the house, the columns, can we look at those columns?
Yes. And yes, I did slip my mind to mention those. Originally, I was just showing a CMU block column coming all the way down and then just following the siding and then just having trim for the corners. Ron made the suggestion to go ahead and make it more Craftsman style. So that's where I went ahead and used a composite trim that will be replaced with wood trim. So I added a base and then 2 crowns at the top.
Okay. So are you gonna have more trim on the main body of the column? You got an arrow pointing to something that doesn't appear to be trim. Yeah, in the center?
Well, when I'm thinking of trim, I'm thinking the board being cut to the size that we needed for the column.
Okay. All right, I don't know if I saw or heard anything about downspouts on this edition.
Downspouts. So currently, that's what I have highlighted here in the yellow. So those will be the gutters. Then we have downspouts meeting at the corners. And then we'll introduce underground drainage with pop-up drains at the front.
And then what's the material of those?
Of the gutters?
Gutters,
Yes.
Downspouts, yeah.
Ron, what is, I didn't pick up about that one. Half round.
Okay, you can work with staff on that. All right. Okay,
One other question.
go ahead.
So on the back elevation, it looks like you're taking out a window to put in a door. Is that right?
Let me go to the floor plan. Yeah, so this window is gonna be removed, and then we're gonna replace it with a single door.
Okay, and the window next to it is staying?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? All right, not seeing any. You have 5 minutes for rebuttal if you so choose.
Nope, no rebuttal.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, at this point, we're going to close the public portion of the hearing and move on to discussion.
I think he needs to do a little extra homework and get with staff to, I mean, I don't have a problem with moving it forward, but he needs more detail on his drawings, and he can sit down with staff and finalize all those things.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about the dimensions of overhang, the exact dimensions of the siding exposure. It appears that, in fact, I think it's more important for those 2 windows that are not symmetrical on the street-facing side of the elevation.
Yeah.
I think it's more important that they're symmetrical to the exterior than to the interior. I think that's an important design consideration. You know, obviously the half-round gutters and downspouts, they're not shown on the drawings or the elevations, and they're considerable impact on appearance of things and location of things. And they're drawn in plan, but they're not drawn in elevation, they're not modeled in the renderings. So it's hard to look at them or compare them. Everything aluminum that's mentioned as aluminum has to go to wood. Everything that's composite on the set of drawings goes to wood. He did show the lighting, he did show the hardware.
I don't think he had a window sample though in his.
There's no material, there's no manufacturer. He did say it will be an aluminum
Yeah.
clad wood window, which meets requirements. I'd like there to be a little more, I guess, design work done on the columns supporting the second, the rear addition. They're still bulky, and I think they could be a little more elegant.
I think the landing, the brick pavers, all that needs to be addressed, and I just don't think he got to it yet.
And that's going to impact his impervious calculations. If he has to drop 3%, he might be changing what some of that stuff is in the
Absolutely.
back.
He just needs to work with staff on it.
Yeah. And that's all in the rear, the rear landing and pavers.
Okay, but fundamentally.
Yeah, given, and especially given that Ron already said, they worked with them to drop the heights and other things and reduce the footprint to get it in, I think that's good to go.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move to grant a final approval or certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at the public hearing in ARC 25-00-00444 for the property at 907 South Bruce Street, with the following conditions. That the applicant clarify a number of dimensions on the drawings, including the dimensions of the overhang to staff satisfaction, the dimensions of the siding exposure, that the applicant strive to center the windows on the second floor that face the street that are currently centered on the rooms and not on the exterior elevations, that the applicant apply half-round gutters and downspouts to the drawings, that anything that was called out to be aluminum, particularly railings, will be converted to wood, that the composite materials pointed out would change to wood, that the applicant consult with staff and reconfigure or clarify the rear landing and the paver situation, that the applicant clarify the impervious percentage of the site plan, and that the applicant revisit the column design holding up the second story in the back to bring it to more a craftsman style column, and work with staff on that. Because, based upon the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Hyde Park design guidelines of the City of Tampa for the following reasons, that it would meet neighborhood massing scale and setbacks appropriate to its neighbor houses.
Second?
All right, we have a second for the applicant. Do you understand the conditions and agree to the conditions?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, great. All right, any discussion? All right, not seeing any discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. Good luck.
Good evening, Ron Velo, staff with Historic Preservation. Our next agenda item is ARC-25-0000-528 for the address of 704 South Newport Avenue. This is in the Hyde Park Historic District. The primary structure dates back to 1913 and it is contributing. The zoning is RS 60. The request is for an addition. It's a very modest addition if you look at the percentage. The existing is 4386, and after the 550 square foot addition, it's going to be just under 5,000 square foot. The request is for a certificate of appropriateness for an addition, second story addition with site improvements. This is the Sanborn map. Sanborn map, as I always reference, it tells us a lot of information. If you look here, it has a wraparound porch and you see the vernacular and the footprint of the structure. They have a detached accessory structure that's no longer there. And then the vicinity map is to provide you where it's at. It's really in the heart of Hyde Park. It's kind of in the middle there. This illustration I wanted to show, I think it's going to make the path of this a little easier as it moves forward. Subject site is here. In the 80s, there was an addition approved, permitted, and built that engages to the back of the house. This is a very unique situation. We usually have it separated, the primary house and the detached accessory structure. They have a detached accessory structure, but the addition at the first floor engages to the back of the house, and then there's a very large two-story addition. On the bottom is vehicular storage, and then on the top is living. I have some pictures to reference that. I'm gonna go a little slower because it's a little convoluted, but I need you to understand exactly what's going on here. This is the primary elevation that faces Newport. High-end house. You see here some of the detailing on the rafters. The overhangs are very generous. You see the knee brackets. You see the dimension of the knee brackets. Over on the left side, you see the gutter coming down. It does have the half-round gutters with the ring leaders. On the gable end, just you see the barge rafter here with some of the details. You see the knee brackets as it pierces through the fascia, all up top with the detailing as well. This is the primary elevation, the front elevation, and the north elevation. Just the lower level of that north elevation, that's all encapsulated with vegetation and fencing. This is their mechanical yard, but you see some of the detailing there. The abutting structure on that side is also a contributing structure. Going down the drive aisle, this is part for automobile storage, but they do have 2 cars that come in off the alley. They'll show you that through their presentation. This here is the south elevation. You see this series of windows. They're very ornate windows. You have this octagon on the top, this very character-defining detail. On the lower first level of that south elevation, you have a series of windows. That was the open porch that I illustrated on the Sanborn map, but the last 2 have been filled in. Part of this, they're going to talk about bringing that back online. This is the abutting structure to the south. Here's where it gets a little hairy, so please follow along if I could do it justice. The primary house is here. They're going to do a 2nd-story addition. They're going to have a broken knee shed roof coming off of here, and then they're going to extend this visor here out a little bit to capture some square footage here. If you look at this is the rear of the primary house. This is the connector. That was the addition that was done in the 80s, and this is part of that addition. Just a little farther shot showing the engagement of that addition with the connector into the rear of what was the existing primary structure. This is looking straight on, primary structure, the rear, the connector to the addition. This is the addition. This is the rear of the primary house, the 1-story connector, and this was the addition that was reviewed, approved, built, and permitted. So kind of a little different than the direction we usually go. The alley is a Hyde Park alley. It's drivable. It's in good condition. They have some access from this alley to have their 2 cars parked in the garage. They'll go through that. They're going to provide additional garage doors. That is part of this presentation. That concludes this portion, and I'll have the representative address the board first.
Thank you, Ron.
Good afternoon. My name's Ann Pollack. I'm an attorney with Trenum Law, representing the property owners tonight and through this process. Nicole and Arthur Pyatt are the owners, and they're here tonight along with our architect. This is a certificate of appropriateness to allow a small addition to the house. The owners truly love the neighborhood. They want to be a part of the life on the block. And the goal here is really to make the home more livable for their growing family, with all kids and parents' bedrooms on the same floor. The house, built in 1913, has had minor changes over years, but really the big change in 1989 is the one that we've had to deal with through this whole process. acting as if it's a historic building in the back and trying to find separation. And the architect and Nicole will go all through that. But what I wanted to do is just emphasize how tirelessly everyone has been working with the architect and with Ron to go from a place that was maybe not the best to something that they really are proud to show you tonight. And so I'm gonna have Nicole come up, and she's gonna run through a little bit more about the house history and about the process that they've gone through to get here tonight. Let's see.
Hello, I'm Nicole Pyatt, owner, and my husband and I recently purchased the property at 704 South Newport. We're looking, as Anna said, to create a small, non-visible addition to make the space more usable for our growing family and a place we can live for a long time. Our team has worked closely with Ron, but I wanted to initially go through the history of the house, and I'll try to breeze through that point because I think Ron also touched on it. Some ongoing water intrusion issues, as well as previous proposed designs to get to the point where we are today, which Hansel will go through our final submission. So this is the site plan in '89 showing that addition with the attached garage. It's important to note that since then, no additional square footage has been added. Some more construction, photos of that construction as it was being completed. And I think Ron had mentioned this, but one of the improvements we're looking to make is on the front elevation to have that window match the existing windows that are there, as well as addressing some structural and water intrusion issues that we have discovered. Another element we're looking to bring back is this staircase, which was previously in this area. So as we touched on before, there was a full mold and moisture inspection which was completed. Roof leaks were noted in multiple areas, as well as black mold along the rear wall of the original house. There's also fungus noted in the crawl space below that very same wall, all kind of pointing a picture that there's some water damage along the back of that original wall. And we didn't plan it, but it just so happens that this is that wall that we're referencing, and this is a photo that was taken earlier when we first purchased the house, and then again in October, and you can see where there's physical evidence of water streaking as well. So just to kind of touch on maybe our family and why specifically we're looking to do this small addition. We do have a one-year-old son. We're hoping to have 3 children, so for that reason, we're looking to keep the 4 bedrooms. It is important to us, just given how young our family is, that the rooms be close together, if not on the same floor for safety reasons. Shown is this existing floor plan, so you can see where there are 4 bedrooms as it is, but 3 rooms currently share a single bathroom. There's little closet space and there's no true primary bedroom. So before Hansel gets into our final submission, we just wanted to go through some of our previous proposals to get to where we are. We were open to many ideas, and we still are, and hoping to get more feedback. But in our initial plan, we submitted to Ron, we talked about bringing the roof line straight back, just to capture some more space on the second floor. Ron's concerns with this initial draft were that there was an overall kind of massive appearance and lack of differentiation between the original house and the addition. Another thought was to look into expanding into the attic, which our sister house did on 716 South Willow, which is just a block over. We call it our sister house because both houses were constructed in 1926 with strikingly similar architectural features as well as identical original floor layouts. However, when comparing the front facade, you can see that their roof line is significantly higher than ours, and to be able to have any usable space in the attic, we would need to alter the roof line, which Ron thought to be more impactful than expanding off of the rear of the house. Again, looking at our sister house, There have been multiple additions over the years approved by various ARCs, with our most recent addition approved in 2022 and just completed this year. We wanted to look into specific design elements that worked for this house when trying to create this addition. Here you can see the difference between our house and our sister house, our house being at the bottom. These are existing south elevations. Our sister house did a similar addition off of the back and a larger addition than what we have proposed. However, due to the attached garage, we had to be more creative as to not have the main structure appear more massive. Some design elements we liked and want to incorporate are the differentiation of roof heights, the wall step-ins, and as well as extending this first floor roof line back to add more interest to the house, as well as breaking up the overall massing. And Hansel will go into this further. One of the silver linings of this process has been getting to meet our neighbors while showing them these proposed changes. We spent several weekends knocking on doors, gathering letters of support, and we were impressed with how many people were actually excited to see these changes, as well as to give the house the TLC that they felt it needed. The properties highlighted, or all of the houses on the block basically are in support of this construction, except for one which we were not able to touch base with, as well as 713, which was accidentally highlighted, so apologize for that. But no one was opposed that we were able to get in touch with. Actually, one of our neighbors surprised us with his presence today. We did not anticipate that, but this was a photo he provided to show that we do have some mature foliage, which blocks the view of a lot of the construction that we're proposing. So this is from the rear of the house. It's nice to have nice neighbors. This is a view from Swan, where one of our trees is blocking the existing house, as well as where we would be constructing the proposed addition. And some of the mature foliage on the south side, which is where you'll see most of the changes are being visible or being done. In going through this process, we believe we've come up with a program that meets the design guidelines and is something we are proud to show you. It is just a small increase in square footage, with all green space and trees being maintained and no loss of impervious area. But it will both solve our space concerns as well as improve historic features of the house. Thanks so much for everyone here for your time and attention. I'd also like to thank Ron for meeting with us and helping guide our plans. And our team for your hard work and collaboration. And I want to pass it off to Hansel now, who's going to go through the site plan, the elevation, and the materials. Thank you.
All right, welcome back. I'm sure I'll catch myself repeating information, but I'll try to be as concise as possible. So we'll start with the site plan. As previously mentioned, most of our additions is going to take place in the rear of the home and then some areas in the middle. Back then, this used to be a covered patio. It was closed in by the previous owners, turned into a bathroom. So what we plan to do is take a portion of that back and have a small landing here that will act as a very small porch, kind of bringing that back as well. When it comes to impervious calculations, as you can see, our additional footprint on the ground floor, it's pretty minimal. After we do these proposed improvements, we're gonna be at the same impervious, which is 58.4%. And the way we have achieved that is by currently, there's an existing concrete drive here, and what we'll do is introduce concrete aprons and then have sod in between as well. And then I'm showing the HVAC units. They're currently on the north end side, and then there's an existing fencing gate that blocks that from the street. So to get into the exterior elevations, we'll start with the front. We're not gonna propose any changes with the exception of replacing the window that was replaced by the previous owner. And we're gonna bring that back into compatibility by matching the existing style with the adjacent windows. Next sheet over is going to be the rear elevation. And we'll start off with the back structure. Currently, it is 2 separate single garage doors. We're gonna go in and replace the opening and replace it with a double door garage. And this will be the style. Again, we'll bring back the porch look, and then we'll reintroduce back the stairs. As Ron mentioned, we're gonna have a shed-style roof coming off of here. And this edge right here is not gonna go past, or it's gonna be recessed from this outermost existing exterior wall that's facing the south. And here shown in the green will be the addition that will introduce facing the alleyway. And then we're also gonna reduce the roof height as well and introduce new windows. This right here is the north elevation. The entire main structure is staying intact, no changes there. The existing garage space, we're gonna introduce 2 new windows. It's not required, but we thought it would create more visual interest and go more in line with the rhythm of the house. There currently is an existing roof here. That roof will be extended over. Since this new exterior wall will actually be recessed in about 1 foot. Again, just giving more differentiation from the main structure to the addition. The last elevation is going to be the south elevation here. So the green shows the addition, and then the blue also shows the addition as well. But this green is, these walls are recessed further back, again, to give it more differentiation. This right here will be a new entry that will go into the mudroom. And then this right here shows that we're going to, as you can see in the bottom here, this is where the old windows used to be, and those were filled in, and then a bathroom was built on the inside. So what we plan to do is we're gonna bring back those windows, and that will be part of the living space on the inside. We'll introduce another window here, and then we'll bring back a small covered porch here as well. And then this is the shed-style roof coming off of the addition here, the hexagon, and you're not gonna be able to see this from the right-of-way. And then as far as the 2-story existing in the back, that will remain. So this here is the first wall section. It is a wood frame house, so we will stick to that. We will copy the same features: exposed rafters, beadboard soffit, wood siding, solid wood trim, recessed windows. I also have dimensions here as well for the overhangs. We will introduce, the house already has 6-inch round gutters, so we will continue that as well. This is another wall section. This one is being cut through that porch that we're adding on the first floor, and then the second floor addition with the shed-style roof as well. Again, we'll replicate the exact same details that are found in the front porch of the house. And these are some more architectural details. We'll mimic the same details as far as dimension is concerned. The pieces of solid wood trim around the doors and windows. I'll go ahead and get into the material palette. I thought it was best to show the existing house and highlight some of the same materials that we're gonna reintroduce, such as the wood siding, the decorative wood rafters, round gutters, wood knee braces. We also had the wood beadboard soffit with wood trim around doors and windows, solid wood doors, and the stem wall with crawl space foundation. As far as the patio is concerned, we'll do a slatted wood deck and a tongue and groove wood ceiling to match the existing. Roofing right here, this is the original house, and it was showing a metal roof, and we will also do a metal roof as well. We're proposing to do a 1-inch standing seam. As my client alluded to, they've had many issues with the water leaks since they took it over, and they're really concerned about longevity, maintenance, and as an architect, I recommended that we went with standing seam. That has concealed fasteners as opposed to the 5B crimp. This is one of the selections for consideration for the exterior door hardware. This is the final garage door choice. That was also highlighted in the exterior elevation. They want to do a gas lit lantern for the lighting. And then I'll go ahead and speak about the conditions. We got 13 minutes, okay. All right, so going over the conditions of report, the first line item was the hardware and lighting. I just spoke about that. Provide the history of the 1980s addition. That was wonderfully done by her. The porch materials, ceiling, deck, and columns. I just spoke about that. Discuss the program for requests. She spoke about the history of that and all the process that we underwent to get to this point. Discuss the stormwater concerns with the gutters and the paving. As I mentioned before, we are able to keep the impervious exactly the same by removing this concrete driveway and then introducing concrete ribbons with sod in between. And then we will continue the same stormwater design through the use of circular round downspouts and gutters with a pop-up drain, and we'll be able to get away from the tree protection zone. Okay, final garage door choice. Did speak about that as well. Alrighty. Shown right here. Consider a new window on the second floor, north elevation. So I'll go ahead and show the second floor. So right now, the current design is to have a new master closet here. We have the 2 new windows in the back that's shown in the elevation. Functionalities wise, having to add another window means you're losing more storage space along the wall. So my clients and I decided that was just not the best for the project. This is also a facade that's kind of tucked in farther away. And as my client alluded to, there's also foliage here too. So those are just more reasons to not necessarily add a window. But we're open to your feedback. And lastly, discuss the visual separation from primary structure to the addition. We're creating visual separation by lowering the roof height of the second floor addition, recessing the exterior walls 1 foot in where possible. If you want to see floor plans, I do have that available, as I just showed you one. We're going to use different style windows, and we're going to also reduce the roof overhang. Currently, the roof overhang is 32 inches, so this small portion of the addition that is attached to the main house, we're going to replicate the same overhang dimension, since that shed roof ties into the main roof. But on this addition right here, we're going to reduce the overhang to 20 inches. And that's going to further give visual separation from the existing 2-story garage in the back. And that concludes my presentation, our presentation.
Great, thank you very much.
Good evening, Commissioner Ron Veal. I'm a planner with Historic Preservation. I wanted to call out that there are letters of support. They're in your packet. This application is consistent with the Hyde Park Design Guidelines. We reviewed the last plans October 15, 2025. You saw the series of designs that were brought forward, that were discussed, and ultimately what was presented. We're comfortable with this last one. That's why we're saying it's consistent. In this exercise, we were given something that is foreign to the district, how the buildings are kind of meshed together. In working to a solution that we could say that is consistent, we tried to separate as much as possible the roof lines visibly. The structure is still connected, but visibly the second floors as much as possible to get them the floor plan that they needed, to get the program that they needed, while meeting our criteria with what was given for this particular parcel. I think this is a very unique situation that I haven't experienced in the past. The windows are something that he needs to address a little bit more. We tried to show what's new and what's historic with the simplification of the windows, with bringing in the massing and tucking down the roof line. So I think that all meets the Secretary of Interior standards as well. But the last item I have is just the windows, if there's a manufacturer, or if he could elaborate on the windows that are going into the original house, because there's one that's gonna go in there. That should be a wood window. We're very consistent. If it's on the original footprint of the historic home, it has to be a wood window. If it's on an addition, it could be a wood or a wood-cladded window. I'm here to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Ron. Is there anyone in the public that's here to speak for or against this project? Please just identify yourself.
Hello, my name is Ray Heyer. I live at 709 South Delaware Avenue, directly behind the residents there looking at making the addition. I've reviewed the plans with the owners. First of all, I want to congratulate. We have a young family who's brave enough to move into a 100-year-old house, and I just want to acknowledge that. That's in this day and age, that's a really good thing, and I'm excited that there's young blood coming in and wanting to preserve the neighborhood. Secondly, I've always felt the back of the house looks a little goofy, and maybe that's the wrong word to use, but it doesn't really fit the historical kind of vibe of the neighborhood. I think what they're laying out and what they proposed actually is an upgrade to the neighborhood and to the look of the house and the feel of the neighborhood. I'm in support of the changes they proposed. I know my neighbors on both sides that also can view the back of the house are in support of the project as well. So I just want to come here and congratulate them for having the nerve to take on this project, but also wanted them to be supportive.
Great, thank you very much. Is there anyone else that's here to speak for or against? All right, not seeing any. We will start, I guess, on my right with questions.
Do we have any details on the columns that you're adding? Do we have any type of wall section or details for those columns, what they're gonna be made out of, what size they are?
No, I don't have one for a column here. I took a section through showing the beam and then the knee wall and the patio and not of the column.
Okay. The soffit board that's on the house itself is a very detailed soffit board as it runs up the rake. Do you have that shown someplace, how the cuts are and how the knee braces interact with it? And do you have that detail drawn out someplace?
Not for the knee braces, no.
Okay. All right. Mr. Vila very eloquently addressed the need for window specs on the existing as opposed as the addition, so you'll need to add those in. Do you have any, you're adding an exterior door. Do you have on your material listed, I may have missed it, I was writing down notes. So do you have an entry door in your material palette?
Right now, we're not gonna replace the entry door. The only new door that we're gonna have is right here.
Right, do you have that door?
We are gonna do a solid wood door. I went ahead and just highlighted that off with existing.
Okay. Okay, we need that. The garage door, do you have a manufacturer of the garage door besides just the picture that you showed? I mean, do you have an actual spec on it?
No, we have not nailed that spec.
And you're going with wood siding to match existing, what exposure is that wood siding currently have, do you know?
I do not have that.
Okay. On your north elevation, when you pulled up your north, there, right there, perfect. The two windows that are to the left of the bump out, no, go to your right, and go down. Down. those two windows are shown different on the two elevations. Are you planning on changing those windows? What's going on there? Am I missing something
Those
again?
windows are not, yeah, we're not changing those windows.
So the lower is that the proposed?
It-
So the existing is not correct?
What it is on the CAD program, the hatch may have gone on top.
I understand.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
so,
happened.
okay, all right. So I just want to
I
make
didn't
sure.
catch that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we need to clean that up, okay? So my final question is you're requesting to change it to a metal roof. Are they opposed to staying with shingles? Is existing shingles, are we opposed to staying with shingles? Would be open to staying with shingles? Are they locked in to going to metal roof?
I mean, we decidedly, like, we're pretty locked into doing a metal roofing.
Okay.
Hey,
Mr. Vila?
Arthur Pyatt.
Yeah.
So we currently have,
You just have to introduce yourself.
Arthur Pyatt, 704 South Newport. I own it with my wife, Nicole. We currently have metal, they are metal shingles. They're overlaid, they're metal shakes, so they're stamped metal currently.
Okay.
And obviously, there's a big issue with it, so we need to address it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Vila, does-
I was just gonna include that it's a metal roof, it's a red metal roof, it's a stamped metal shake shingle roof, but it's metal on the exterior, so they're trying to replace the metal roof with a metal roof.
okay, thank you, that's all I need. That's all the questions I have.
Good job with the presentation, thank you. It's a complex little house, and I appreciate all the effort that's been put into it. I want to get to a couple little small things. I'm not going to deal with the big things. I think the big things are well done. Can you pull up, we have these elevations here, the windows in the new addition, so we want to see the other side, I think.
South?
Yeah, here, okay. So you're going with 1/1s. Would you consider something that is kind of like halfway between the 8/1s and 1/1s, and maybe do a 2/1 or a 3/1 or a 4/1?
Yeah.
Something along the lines of that, because I think it's almost too stark a change, immediate change, just to be different. The other small thing I had was I noticed in the wall sections that you were matching the notches in the exposed rafter tails. And I was just wondering, would you consider, I understand it's a high-end house and it's a kind of really cool detail that those original rafter tails are notched, but if it's an addition and it's not historic, would you change them to a different notch even, like a little small different notch design, so it's clear what was the original one and what's the new one, and it still keeps the high style, but the actual like shape and depth of the notch be different than the historic house? Would you consider that?
Yeah, we're absolutely open to it. I
Okay.
think the only thing would be this particular area right here, since this seems to be in line with the rest of the house, maybe we keep that the same, I don't know. But, and then maybe introduce
Well,
a different.
would that make people think that shed roof was original
Right.
if you matched them? I'm just,
Yeah, but we're open to it.
the way I look at it from an historic preservation standpoint, or from a historic preservationist, which I consider myself, is that when I walk up to a house 100 years from now, if I lived for another 100 years and I walked up, would I be able to go, wow, this is the original house, and here's where they did this, and here's where they added this, and here's where they added that? And when I look at houses that are 200 years old now and up in the Northeast and whatnot, and you can walk up and you go, okay, these are almost the exact same thing, but they're different by like a little bit. So, this was original, this is new, this is added, and that kind of stuff. I just think it's important
We could do that.
to change the detail and not duplicate the historic fabric, so that people in the future aren't confused as to what was original and what was
We
added.
could do that.
Okay. And I think Ron brought up very clearly that we want to have window specifications, and that any window that goes back into the main historic house
You would.
is an authentic wood window, not clad, not anything. And there are, again, if you want to call, I know two people that make really good reproduction wood windows in town here, and they're the right people. There are people who say they can do it that you don't want to go to, and there are two guys that you do want to go to.
Well said.
But I'm happy to give them out after the hearing if you're still here or later on. I don't think I have any other questions.
Perfect, thank you.
So my only question on the back, and maybe this is for Ron, who maybe can help. Are we affecting the detail at the top of the roof line?
Any addition is gonna affect the rear. What we worked on was keeping the roof line there, the barge rafter, and then adding on, but not in the same plane, we tucked it down. You're gonna lose that detail on the back. The rear elevation is simplified to go along with Mr. Prokop's thinking that this is not part of the original house, so we did simplify that portion of it.
But you're removing that the detail that's on the front near the roof line, that's mirrored on the back, is being removed in connection with the addition.
They can't coexist. And
Right.
there's a lot of mold back there she led into. I think that whole back wall has to be probably dismantled, some exploratory work and then move forward from there. But to answer your question, yes, that detail is going to be removed as part of this.
Was there any discussion in the throughout the process about having some detail that on the back that
Yeah.
mirrored the front?
Sorry, so the first rendition where we brought the original roof line was to preserve all of that detail from the rear view. But there's just not enough space with the 1 foot drop to replicate all of that detail. So we tried our best to kind of meet in the middle while still having that separation. But if you, let me see so this is what we came up with. And I don't know why it's not drawn here, but I think we're planning to have some of those corbels as well. But yes, if there's some additional elements we can bring in, we're open to it for sure.
Okay. All right, and then the lighting, and maybe this is more for the architect. Are you adding light fixtures? I see like here, the garage, and I think up beside the door.
Yeah, correct. I haven't started the ceiling layouts, but typically right off the bat, I put wall sconces on either side of garage door openings where I see kind of appropriate.
And I think on the porch, on that back new little porch area.
So right here would be one, right next to the front door.
And so has Ron looked at
Right
what
here.
those would look like? What
What's-
those lighting
Yeah,
fixtures
yes.
would look like? Oh, gotcha, okay. Okay, and then I'm just gonna say it back to you to make sure I understand the comment about the second floor window to the north elevation. Essentially, that's the closet
Yes.
that it was suggested to be put into it.
Correct.
Okay, and so the window that's gonna be added looks out towards the backyard, right, to foliage?
That's correct.
Okay. Was there any discussion about just moving that window to the side so that from the side of the house, it looked like there were you're just moving the window from one wall to the other wall, or?
I think it was just gonna break up the symmetry here that we were gonna have here with a window on either side
Oh, I see.
and to
Yeah.
not necessarily have a blank face there,
Yeah,
blank wall.
okay. All right, nothing else.
Great. You have handrails on these stairs?
We have handrails in the front. Ron, can you speak about that? Because you mentioned that they should be removed. Not to put you on the spot. but-
Yeah. For code reasons, 4 or more risers, you have to have something that's graspable going up. On the front elevation, over time, they showed up. It's not historically correct. There's some site inspectors, building officials, that with historic properties, they let us remove it. I believe that one of them has an elderly parent, so they're gonna leave it up there for now. On the new steps in the rear, 4 more risers, you have to have something that's graspable, so you can speak on behalf of that.
I'll have to add railings.
Okay, so we'll need materials. Very nice presentation from everybody involved. I think you've handled a tricky situation very well. Some real minor details, but I think it's gonna be very nice, nice addition. All right, any other questions? Okay, so you have 5 minutes for rebuttal if you so choose.
We're good.
Okay, great. At this point, we're gonna close the public portion of the hearing and move on to discussion.
I think just like the previous one, I think he's got the majority of the stuff done, just needs to add some details to some of his drawings, and he can work with staff with that, I think.
Yeah, I think part of the impetus for, part of the impetus that I think people have is to say, we're gonna duplicate the existing houses detailing throughout the
Right.
addition, when that's not precisely what wants to happen. It wants to be simpler, and less grand, or less, like Ron's use, high, a high-end stuff. And that's why I kind of made a deal about the notches and the exposed rafter tails, that the brackets, if there's brackets, that maybe on the addition, they don't penetrate through and have that little pyramid exposed, maybe they just stop short of penetrating through, so it's still a bracket there, but it's a simpler detail. Just slightly less grand than the main house, so it can be like, okay, there we go. It's honoring the main house, but it's not as elaborate as the original house is, so it doesn't damage the historic character of the main house, if that makes any sense. Doesn't reduce its importance.
But can't, I mean, the windows alone are gonna show that it's an addition, right? Because the window's gonna be less than, is gonna be different. So does everything need to be not mirror? Because
Not everything.
to me, visually, on just the addition, I'm not talking about the back, but on that side, can't you have the roof line mirror, and that really, 100 years from now, we're gonna know it's separate because the window's gonna be different?
The windows can come and go. Windows can be replaced and removed and
But they will
damaged.
never mirror the 8, right? They will never mirror the same.
We don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen in the future. What can happen right now is that like main stuff, like stuff that's part of the roof structure and part of the decorative and all that kind of stuff, that stuff can be distinguished differently. That's just the way I look at it. It's
It wouldn't bother
subjective.
me to have
It's
it the
subjective.
same as the rest of the house.
I would want it to be, respect the rest of the house, but be slightly less. Like,
Yeah, and I guess my
instead of
point
there
is
being
to-
10 across, it'd be like 5 across or something else like
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying?
But visually look the same. But to me, you were saying a different notch. Like, to me, it would be okay to be the same notch, maybe fewer, so that visually it doesn't look like, oh, wait a minute, the last 5 are completely different. What happened there? I don't know. To
That's
me,
why you want it to be that way.
No, I think there's a balance that
Yeah.
the design team has to come up with.
right,
Yeah.
so it doesn't
Right.
be
Absolutely.
shocking. So go ahead. I just wanted to
I think
Okay.
interject while you were on that point.
And the reason I brought all that up is because it is I've visited the house that the Schuyler sisters grew up in Albany, New York, and I think I brought this up before. It was built in the 1700s, and there's 2 additions on it, and you walk up and you go, they're really close. But this was added on later, and this was added on after that, and the brick detailing is a little bit different, even though it's complementary. It's not plain.
Right.
It's not naked, but it's changed, and you can see where these additions happened over hundreds of years, and now we can go back and look at it and see
I
that.
think we're all in agreement. It's, he works with staff
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's subtle, but.
Yeah.
Yep.
So should there be something on the back, since we're removing
Well, I think.
all
the-
that detail?
I think the applicant has stated that there's going to be.
They
more
intend.
detail. So that's gonna be one of the conditions, is these elevations need to be consistent with the idea.
Yeah.
Because
To add in some
Yes,
detail on the back.
absolutely.
And that was one of my notes. I said, consider adding a few additional decorative elements to the extended rear facade at the second floor.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
because you're taking a whole bunch of beautiful stuff off,
Right.
Right.
put a little bit back.
I'm
So
good with that.
it sounds like we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
Yep.
So someone wanna, go
Go
ahead?
I move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at the public hearing in ARC 25-00-00528 for the property at 704 South Newport Avenue, with the following conditions. That the applicant provide the actual window specifications for both the replacement windows and windows in the addition to staff, for staff approval. That the applicant consider adding a few additional decorative elements to the extended rear porch facade as described by the property owner on the second floor. For the applicant to provide some additional column details and work out the column details with staff that don't seem to have been detailed too well here. For the applicant to provide railing details and coordinate with staff on that. And for the applicant to provide an identifiably different design for the extended raftered and tail notches from the original house on all of the additional parts of the house. Because based upon the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Hyde Park design guidelines of the City of Tampa for the following reasons: that it is well scaled, proportioned, and the massing is compatible with the historic nature of the neighborhood.
Detail for knee braces, and then, I don't know if you mentioned that, there's some missing detailing for knee braces, and then I just think in general, material specs, there was a decent amount of material specs that need to be documented.
Yeah, entry
Okay.
door, garage door, and lighting needs more.
The garage door lighting?
Entry door, garage door, and lighting.
Well, the lighting fixtures were
He just had a picture of one.
identified with a gas, as a gas lighting fixture. I was happy with that.
Okay, if you're happy with that.
All right, I'm going to amend that the applicant provide additional specifications and details and not just a photograph for the garage doors. For additional,
Detailing of the knee braces,
the detailing of knee braces at the roof overhangs.
of,
And that those roof overhang knee braces be, on the addition, be simpler yet compatible with the main house.
also doors.
Yeah, entry door.
That the side entry door be provided the specification and coordinated with staff.
There was a conversation about adding a third window possibly to the rear elevation. Do we want to?
I don't think that's.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, okay.
Because, based upon the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Hyde Park design guidelines in the City of Tampa for the following reasons: that its materiality, scale, and massing are compatible with the neighborhood.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Does the applicant understand the conditions and agree with the conditions?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, any other discussion? All right, not seeing any. All in favor of approving this with conditions, signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Ron Vila, I'm a planner with Historic Preservation. Our next agenda item is ARC 25-00-00567 for the address of 423 South Orleans Avenue. The contributing structure dates back to 1912. It's a very modest home. The numbers of the square footage, we went different places to find out what was original. You know, the staff report says 348. I just spoke with the owners this morning. They think the original house was 295 square feet. So we have to change our hats on this particular request. We just saw a very grand house. Now we're gonna look at a one-story shotgun house that's 300 square foot originally. There was an addition with a shed roof put on. They're removing that. They're doing a one-story addition to the rear. So they're requesting a certificate of appropriateness for an addition, rehabilitation to the primary structure with site improvements. We see a little bit of everything tonight. So property in question is in the expanded area. The historic district of Hyde Park, the northern boundary used to end at De Leon, now goes to Platt. In January 2023, it was expanded, the neighborhood came to us, we did a joint venture. It was reviewed by this board, went to council, and ultimately got approved. So look at the series of homes here. This is a Sanborn map. Look at the density. These are 40-foot wide lots by 80 deep with no alley. In 1929, it had an alley. That alley has been vacated since then. This is our vicinity map. I always like to show that. It doesn't show too much information, but then it kind of does. So it's on the northwestern boundaries within the Hyde Park Historic District within the expansion area. The expansion area went from De Leon to Platt and all the way to Boulevard. So it encompasses this little area here known as Dobyville. This is the house. It's a beautiful one-story house in its own right. Very, very, very simple. We had a grand house, very simple here. So it's a two-bay system. It's lacking details with the columns. There is a front yard fence. That front yard fences are prohibited in Hyde Park, so you can't put a new one. This was in the expansion area, and working with the owners, they want to be included into Hyde Park. They're going to remove the front yard fence. There's very little parking. I'm going to illustrate the challenges in this area with parking. They are going to put a curb cut and a vehicular access on the side of the house. They only have one side to do that. There's a large grand tree over here that hopefully it shows up in my pictures. This is the south elevation. Once again, very simple, not paired windows. There's single windows. The foundation is CMU with lattice in between. Here's a little closer up of that. You see the profile of the siding is applied to the structure, and then the trim over that, so you have that reveal that shadow. This is the abutting house to the south that had an addition put on it. This here is the north elevation. As part of them coming forward, you see the windows, how they're kind of squatty. You see the scarring lines of the windows on the top. They're reestablishing the window proportions as part of this moving forward. On this north elevation, that's their mechanical yard. You could talk about shielding. On that north side, this is the abutting structure with a lot of vegetation. Here's the front of their house here. This is the fence. This is a very grand tree. The driveway had to be pushed to the south. There was no other place to put it. There's no alley, and with the tree there, there's some challenges that they have. This is looking down the street back into Hyde Park Village. This is looking to the north. Usually this street is cluttered with cars everywhere. As I stated, this was not part of the historic district. There is house after house after house that parks in the front yard like this. They're coming up with a more sensitive solution, the best that they can on this site. So keep that in mind. This was the gable roof was the primary house. This was the addition that they're removing, and then that's will be where the new addition is going to be. And from the rear of that house, that's the rest of the yard. So in moving forward, they are coming with no variance request. They're trying to be as sensitive as possible. And at this time, I will have the owner address the board.
Good evening. Thank you for the chance. My name is Rafael Romero. I'm here on behalf of the owners, Claudia Graf and Gustavo Bustamante. Well, after what Ron said, the project well, it's pretty much what he said, where they're gonna take the, here. And you said, here.
Yeah.
There you go.
You bet the point.
Thank you. Okay, so they're gonna take out the back of the house, and they're gonna build a new part. Can't really see much here. Oh, that's much better. Okay, and here in the front, we have, the project includes new concrete foundations, CMU, wood frame, exterior walls, wood frame floors, metal roof, and exterior windows and doors, maintaining the original finishes. All the utilities, water, mechanicals, plumbing, etc., are gonna stay in the north side of the lot, as they are now. Then the fences, like Ron said, up front here are gonna be taken down to the face of the house, down to this level. We're supposed to put here a sidewalk, but that huge tree, which is mostly on the side, on the neighbor property, made the arborist to decide that we should not put that sidewalk right there. What we're gonna do on the parking here is we're gonna put two, the new driveway would be a 10 by 36 wide concrete slab that goes right here, and with 5 by 5 scoring pattern, and it would have 42 ribbons and a 36 landscape strip. This is the only hardscape of the project. Those are right here. And the total impervious area of the project is it's going to end up being 48%, and 25% of the landscape of the lot is going to be landscape open. What else here? Concrete and fence. Oh, we're going to put like a kind of a privacy fence here at the face of the property, so it would block the view to all the mechanicals that are going to be on that north side of the property from the street. You won't be able to see them from the street.
If you allow me for a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. Good night, good evening. Leopoldo Sanchez, I'm one of the applicants assisting the owner. As Rafael said, here in the proposed plan, we can see the old addition, the existing addition that is right now, that is going to be torn down, adding 490 square feet in the rear. We're keeping the setbacks. On the north side, we're keeping it at 7.28. On the south side, it's at 7 feet. And on the rear, we have about 20.41, if I'm not mistaken. Like he pointed out, here we're removing the fences all the way to the face of the building, on the sides, on the north and south, and the front of the house. And we're gonna put the same type of fence here. I'm sorry. With a gate, so you don't see the services and utilities from the street view, you know, to have privacy there. Regarding the slab, he already mentioned that, how the driveway is going to be. There is going to be a slab 36 by 10 with ribbons that are going to be 3.5 feet, 3 feet landscape, and 3.5, which is pretty much the only hardscape area that the property will have. That's giving us an impervious area of 48%, like he mentioned, and we have landscape that is going to be about 25% of the total area. Moving along, I'm sorry.
Okay, so going to the elevations. Okay, sorry, I'm not good moving this. So here's the existing building. Here's the part that's going to be demolished. Here's the elevation looked at the south side, the porch is just gonna be renewed and fixed. The windows, like Ron mentioned, are gonna be shaped to the same shape they were original, so we're not gonna see that scarring. The new part comes, the new section that we're building comes from this backwards. There is a side door here. Windows are gonna be of the same kind, all made out of wood. We do have the model, I'll show it to you. And we're gonna have a French doors here on the back, check into a deck here, and there's a small deck here to get down from this side door.
The windows that are going to be installed, will be wood in both the original site, the historic structure, and on the new addition. They're gonna be they're manufactured by Colby, one of the manufacturers suggested to us. We have the side cuts, the cut sheets here for them.
Yeah. If you don't mind, well, this is the trimming of the windows. That's gonna be different, it's gonna be the original ones. And then, we're gonna use the window trim, yes, right. The original entrance door is hardware, it's just gonna be fixed. We're gonna use the same one. There's two new exterior doors that I mentioned. Those are not gonna be wood, they're gonna be fiberglass impact rated, made by Thermo-Through. We do have pictures of those also. Both the decks, the west and the rear, are gonna be pressure-treated wood. The roof is corrugated metal, the old style, and we could keep the same one. We would prefer to change it. This is, sorry. This is the one it's now. We would love to use this Union Corrugated Master RIP 3.17 RIP charcoal grade if we're allowed to. We think it's gonna look better and it's gonna be more durable. It's a more modern material. On the exterior wall section of the proposed addition, we would use horizontal wood siding, preferable cypress number 2. If we don't find that, we're gonna use the pine because the cypress number 2 is kind of hard to find right now. Where are we now? The soffit is to match the existing one with half-inch flat plywood. We're gonna keep the foundation the same way. We're gonna do the same kind of foundation for the extension. We're gonna have the same slat made out of wood. Everything should match. The exterior light fixtures, a new addition, are in the pictures. Well, these came first. These are the windows, all wood. This is the main door, but you already saw that. It's just we're just gonna restore that. This is the back door. The French doors that we're gonna use on the west side, the back of the property. Thermo-Through doors, like I said, fiberglass. And this is the door that we're gonna use on the south side. This is the hardware we're intending to use for the doors. we're gonna keep the lighting that's already in the front porch. We're just gonna restore it and fix it if necessary, this one here. And we're gonna use this style, or we want to use that style for the rest of the lighting that we're gonna need on the outside. Falta? Okay. Right here. I don't know if you want specifics on this. You want me to explain the whole thing? Okay. This is the wall section that exists now. The main difference is here, the drip side is going to be changed. And here's the new one. So the fascia is going to be 2x8 fascia. Then we're going to go to 1/2-inch plywood soffit with a 1x5, 1x8 frieze. We're going to use the siding. It's going to be wood, like I said. Same width. It's going to look the same. We're going to have the head trims of the windows, double hang windows, and keep going down. Okay, and this is we're going to use, like I said, the same kind of lattice with CMB supports, concrete support. Now, let me see if I forgot something.
Excuse me, just wanted to add something regarding the wall sections. This is the existing one. We're keeping the same configuration in the wall sections. Soffit, the existing soffit is flat plywood. We're keeping the same on the new one, on the new addition. The siding on the existing wall section, we're gonna keep the same siding, cypress number 2, that it has already on. For the new addition, we were trying to source, but it's not being easy to source cypress number 2. We have found the pine novelty that is being used, we understand, from the suppliers in the Ybor City area. That will be on the new addition, but we will keep the original wood on the historic structure of the house, of the building, no? The rest of the wall section, as you can see, is pretty much the same as Rafael had already explained. Just wanted to mention that part. The windows, we do have here the cut sheets for the windows made by Colby. No? So they are wood windows, no? We really had a hard time trying to find manufacturers doing wood windows, but we were able to find, as per the suggestions we have received from the great support we've been receiving from the city on it. The windows, the original windows, as he mentioned, were taller. They shortened them and put universal windows. So we're changing that and reestablishing it back to the original historic site. The same with the door, the trimming that it has right now, I believe it is 1x6. We're changing it back to 1x4 as the standards for the historic site. So what it is, the historic building, we will restore it to its original condition, and we want to keep the same uniform form towards that new addition. So we will try to keep the same siding if we're able for cypress number 2 on the rear addition. If not, we will put the same design of siding called Novelty number 6-inch that is being marketed. So the whole building looks. We would like to keep the whole building being uniform, and there isn't much more. It's a really tiny house. There isn't much space. Honestly, the lot is 2,784 square feet. That's why the hardscape is pretty much only the driveway to meet the storm water. So we're at 48 with the impervious area. And the sidewalk, as per the arborist said, there is no way to put a sidewalk there because of the huge oak tree. We would probably need to go with a sidewalk waiver, whatever we have to do there. The lining fixtures that Rafael showed are for the new addition, since the old house, this historic building, has that main line in the front. It's such a tiny house that you don't really have much outside of it. The corrugated metal roof that it has, the existing corrugated metal that it has, is the old style that is 26 gauge. We would like to switch it, if possible, if we're allowed, to a newer design that will also keep the uniform and the same historic charm that the Hyde Park area is being brought up. No, foundations, as he already mentioned, will be CMU. And the same, will be CMU in the new addition, and the existing one will be repaired as needed. All the bins and everything underneath will be repaired. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted, in case that we were missing something, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Commissioner Ron Veal. I'm a planner with Historic Preservation. Staff reviewed this project and states that the findings are consistent with the Hyde Park design guidelines. This was a very refreshing project. It's something that we don't see a lot of times. The structure mimics more of a shotgun house in the Ybor City area than in Hyde Park. So we also work, Ybor City is a historic district, so I'm familiar with working with these kind of homes. Usually we try to delineate, as we did on some of the other cases this evening. The delineation, for me anyway, is the period home, the bones of that building, and then the addition with the exaggerated gable roof and then the bump out. I don't believe anything else is needed. You can't get any simpler than this house already is. So I don't want to confuse anything. I think that they've met the standards with the footprint that has been established. The rehab, they're going to evaluate the siding that needs to be removed. And if it needs to be removed, then we weave in siding to match there. The addition is going to match as well. We don't get into the species of the wood itself. He talked about that. That's something that goes beyond our purview. But if they wanted to review different wood samples, that's up to them. The drawing shows some changes to the staff report. The new door on the driveway side, which is the south, was really butted up into the trim. They've shifted it over. The double doors in the rear, the French doors in the rear, did not have a cover. Now it has a cover. So, you have some livability there. The roof is a corrugated roof. The roof that they're suggesting is a corrugated roof. If they want to change it, in my opinion, it's satisfactory. The wall materials are wood, the windows are wood. He touched upon the sidewalk. With the intrusion of the tree that was probably there before anything else was there, you can't put a sidewalk in there. So there's an in lieu fee of, in the event that you can't put a sidewalk, they're going to just have to pay into that fund. That concludes my portion. I'm here to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Ron. Is there anyone in the public that's here to speak for or against this project? Okay, not seeing anyone. We'll start with questions from the commissioners. I'll start on my right.
Okay, can you pull up your elevation so I can see the front elevation? Okay, was there any, on your existing elevation, it shows that you've got is that a window up in the gable?
There is a window there that's,
Or is that a vent?
we're talking about this one, right?
Yes, correct, yes, sir.
Yes, that's because there is an attic up there that,
It's a vent?
it's a vent right now, yeah.
Is there any thought to putting a vent in the new gable to match that? Is that,
Actually, we're thinking about putting a single hung window because we're gonna, it's not gonna be an attic anymore, it's not gonna need vent. So we're gonna substitute that.
so you're
by
gonna
a
have
wood.
you're gonna have a vaulted ceiling in that area that, okay.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Can you show me the rear elevation? Let's see if I can see the,
Yeah. Dale abajo.
you know what, I'm sorry.
claro,
Leave
no,
that
no,
out.
no, yes, I
No,
pulled
there
it
you go.
out,
Okay,
yes.
that's fine.
Right here.
Does the connection point on the overhang covering your French doors, does it match what's on your front door? Or similar to? Is it, yeah,
You mean the elevation of the color?
yeah, the overhang that you currently have on the, nope, oop, sorry. How you can't see where I'm pointing. Right there, right there.
Uh-huh.
Is that overhang on that door, does that match the overhang on the front door?
No, you're talking about this one, right?
No, yeah.
Oh,
The overhang, the roof over the doors, just the doors.
I'm sorry.
over the French doors.
Correct, yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm understanding that you're asking if this is
Yep.
at the same level as this here?
I can't see where else you're pointing.
I'm sorry.
That's
No,
okay.
no, this is the same drawing, so.
Do we, I guess, do we have a detail showing what that overhang looks like from the side?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
This
Okay, so
is,
it's only coming out 24 inches? Okay, okay.
correct.
Thank you. That's that. Do we have can I see a photo of that just shows me the existing windows and how far they're set back into the existing wall? And to see if your window, I just want to make sure the window specs match that setback.
Puse la foto de la casa, la quité porque la iba a enseñar. Sorry, I moved the pictures because Ron was showing those pictures. So I put them somewhere. Yeah, thank you, Ron.
So the windows look like they're flush to the exterior face?
It's pretty close.
Pretty close? Okay.
Yeah, that's why I illustrated that the trim is applied over, so you get
Yeah.
that reveal and that shadow.
Okay, so does our window detail show? Yep. Does the window detail show that those windows will be flush to the exterior of the wall?
Show your, wall section.
That whole section, right.
Perfect, thank you. That's good. I can see that. And then finally, your fences, you're showing that your fences are coming straight to the front of the house on the corner. Are you opposed to having them set back?
Not at all. No,
Okay.
we're cutting them to the fascia of the house.
Yeah, are you opposed to having them set back off the face of the house? We typically don't want them right square with the corner.
Oh. Yeah.
6
Yeah.
inches?
6 inches,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's it. That's all the questions I have.
No.
That was literally my only comment, was setting back. I know you have a meter right there at the corner of the house, but I think the fence doesn't go as high as the meter does. There's a meter, so just setting it back inside of the piece of trim on the corner, so it doesn't come
look-
flush with the front of the
Yeah,
house.
yes.
And I literally had no other questions. It's so simple.
It is.
It's such a simple house, and
And we really love the area and we want to keep it
yeah,
as is.
thank you.
Yeah, no
Thank you.
questions.
Couple of questions. The back deck, what is the material?
Wood.
Okay, so it's
Treated wood.
100% wood? Okay.
Pretty much everything is going to be wood except the new doors.
Okay.
They're going to be
And then
reinforced.
the doors, you said they're fiberglass doors. Are they having a wood finish or is it?
Well, they're gonna look like wood. They're in the new addition, and those are the ones that we have sourced out. They're from Therma-Tru and they're impact rated because all the windows and doors are gonna be impact rated. let me see, we do have it here. I have a picture and the cut sheets for the doors. This is the cut sheet for the French door. No? And here,
Okay,
and
Ron?
this will be the design of the door.
No, that's fine, thank you. A question for Ron. So you know what the question is.
Pella makes doors, they're using Pella windows. Pella makes doors too that are cladded, so I think that that would be appropriate for the addition.
All right, perfect. All right, that's all the questions I have. Any other questions? All right, so you have 5 minutes for rebuttal if you need. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. All right, at this point, we're going to close the public portion of the hearing and move on to discussion. No, I think it's a nice project. I think, yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely impossible to make the addition simpler than the main house. You can't do it.
Yeah, no.
But, yeah, I did write down the fiber doors.
Yeah.
I just didn't bring it up because, but I think that's the only condition.
Well, I think the fence needs to be back behind the
Move
mirror.
move the fence back 6 inches.
And then he needs to update the rear elevation to show the window instead of the vent.
Yeah.
No, that was the front elevation.
He had the front elevation.
It was the front elevation
The
he's
front
changing.
has got a vent, but I thought he was changing the rear elevation to make it a,
No, he's changed, it's the exact opposite.
He's talking about changing adding a window to the front gable because it's gonna be a vaulted ceiling.
Right,
from
he's
what
gonna
it
vault the
said.
ceiling in the original
Oh, in the
old
original,
house and put a piece of glass up there instead of the vent.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Well, either way, he needs to update.
Yeah, he needs to update that.
yeah.
He needs to update that.
Well, he testified. It's part of his testimony.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs
His
to-
update, no.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. ID window,
we did.
yeah. And then, window at gable. So really what I have is the fence 6 inches back from the front of the edge of the house, ID the window at the gable,
And then the.
and then, changing the 2 doors in the addition to match the manufacture of the windows, which is basically a wood, but with a cladding.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. 3 for 3.
You're on a roll.
I move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in ARC 25-0000567 for the property located at 423 South Orleans Avenue with the following conditions. That the applicant consider moving the small piece of fencing back approximately 6 inches from the face of the front facade. That the applicant ID the fact that they're changing a vent to a window, if that's what they're going to do, and the main original house front gable, and that window be a wood window, and that the applicant use clad wood doors to match the windows from the window manufacturer in lieu of fiberglass or fiber doors. Because based upon the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Hyde Park design guidelines of the city of Tampa for the following reasons, that it is perfectly appropriate in materiality, scale, and is compatible with the neighborhood.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Do you understand the conditions? Do you agree with the conditions?
I just had a question about the front window on the gable. I think that I heard you speaking that it had to be wood. It is wood, it is 100% wood, and all the windows including the historic side will have it will have wood. And also the addition will have the same wood windows. We're gonna keep the same all around.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. So, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, motion passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. it's-
Good evening, Commissioners. Ron Vila, I'm a planner with Historic Preservation. Our last agenda item is ARC-25-0000569 for the address of 907 South Fremont Avenue. There's a primary structure there that dates back to 1925. It is contributing. The detached accessory structure is non-contributing. They're going to request demolition. I could approve that administratively. As this moves forward, the zoning is RS50, which allows for an accessory structure to be up to 750 square foot, which this one is, and still be 3 foot from the side and the rear, so it meets zoning setback requirements. The request is for a certificate of appropriateness for new construction for an accessory structure with site improvements. Going through the photos. Is here. You see the primary structure that was original. The detached structure was not the original structure, so the one that's there now is not this one. It does face Fremont. It's in between Bristol and Morrison. The vicinity of the parcel I circled here. Once again, you have the crosstown to the west, and you have Hyde Park Village to the east. This is a contributing structure that received a second-story addition. Was reviewed and approved by this board, but this just some architecture that was brought before this board. It has a very elaborate stucco pattern that was mimicked throughout. This is the abutting structure to the south. This is just looking down the vehicular access. There is an engaged porte-cochere. A little closer. You see it here as you go through the porte-cochere. You have the detached structure. Not to dwell on it because it is non-contributing, but just to show you some of the details that will be removed. And then this is the rear of the primary structure. That concludes the photo presentation, and the agent will address the board at this time.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Missy Shoecraft, and I'm with Offshore Design Build. We are the agents for the owners, Richard and Tanya Thomas, who reside at 907 South Fremont. As you heard from Ron, the request is to demolish the existing non-contributing one-story accessory structure and replace it with a 750 square foot two-story accessory structure. This property is in the RS50 zone, and 750 is as much as we can add on. It will be a two-story structure. The height is just over 21 feet, so we're underneath the maximum. We do know that we have to get a design exception for that, and we will while we go through the building permit process. One of the things that Ron, and before I get to the presentation, I do want to point out, this was given an addition about 10 years ago, and it was substantial. If you look at the Sanborn, basically, everything from the two-story portion back was an addition. And so all the windows are new. They did a great job with the stucco pattern. They put a balcony on the back, and we're going to try to pick up some of those details in our project, which I'm going to walk you through. One of the things that staff asked us to do was to put on the original structure, which is done in red. So the footprint of the new structure is smaller. The original structure, the structure that's there now, actually goes on the other side of the property line towards the alley. It's almost the same. At this point, it kind of pooches out a little bit this way on the driveway side, but it's right on the same line there. And as I discussed before, this was the original structure.
We're seeing
This was the addition that was put on, including the second story piece that sits here. There's a portico share here. This is where we're putting the two vehicles, so we have plenty of room to meet the zoning requirements. Okay. I'm good? Okay. I'll start with the floor plan. On the first floor, this space is going to function as a pool room. There's a very small pool on the site plan that's existing. So first floor is really going to function as a pool room with a small bathroom underneath the stairs that take you up to the second story. And then here is a space that we call storage. It's not big enough for a garage. And this space will actually be heated and air conditioned. And when I go through the material presentation, there's an existing pair of doors here in the original structure that we're going to repurpose onto this one. Second floor, again, stairs going up, one large space. We've got French doors here. I'll show some French doors on the rear of the house where we're going to try to pick up some of that detail. We have a little Juliet balcony here, and then a 3-fixture bath and a closet with very small windows that face into the neighbor's yard, and some more windows over here that face into the alley. These are the exterior elevations. This is the elevation that you would see down the driveway. You really are only going to see a portion of it, which is going to be this piece, because this is behind the main house. These are the doors that I was referencing that we would like to repurpose. These are a typical feature on the main portion of the house, including the original house, which is this clay tile with brackets and supporting members for these overhangs. And we have one here, one over the main door. These are little, we used to call them gun slots. I don't know what we call them anymore, but essentially they're for drainage, but these will probably be mostly decorative. This is a flat roof TPO, and that's also where we're gonna put the air conditioning unit. So this is, we had to do a little bit of more detailed drawing here for the owners. But essentially, this is the set of stairs that go up here. We've got these decorative, these are windows. This is just an opening in this wall, essentially, which you can see here. That's purely decorative. This is the elevation that faces the pool. Again, I referenced the French doors with the little Juliet balcony. The railing is going to be aluminum like it is on the addition on the house.
Can we, I'm sorry to interrupt, can we adjust the camera so we can see that, please?
Point to it.
Point?
Yeah.
Okay. Corbels underneath, and then we've got sliders here, again, from the pool room to the pool. This is the elevation that faces the alley. We have the two small casement windows, and again, the little gun slots. This is the side view of that Juliet balcony, and these are the stairs that actually start proud from the front, the elevation, and that was just to make sure we could make that bathroom work. And then this is the elevation that faces the neighbor. Again, we've got the overhang for the garage profile, and these small windows that sit very high up to give the neighbor privacy. The exterior material is going to be the cement stucco that's on the main house, and I will show a detail of that, and nobody in my office could figure out what the name of that pattern was, so if you all know, tell me. The other thing is that on the original house, there are vestiges of wood trim around the windows, but it doesn't look original. So we're going to do a stucco to stucco corner on this, which is what the addition ended up having, because The wood trim just doesn't look right. And lastly, the section, bottom is, we're gonna have a monolithic slab, we're gonna have a CMU wall with that cement stucco on the outside, and then transfer to a 2x6 on the second story to give the windows enough of a recess and shadow line. Very simple structure. This is that Juliet balcony that I was talking about. It's a TPO roof over plywood, and that's it. And oh, I'm sorry. No, what am I saying? Pardon me. I have a lot of materials to show you. Okay. All right, so we'll start with the stucco. As I said, this is what's existing on the house and on the addition, which I have to say, I don't know what that is. No? Anybody? And then this is the original front of the house that shows you the stucco pattern, including that overhang, and that's exactly what we're gonna do on the overhangs that we're proposing for the accessory structure. This is a close-up of the existing garages doors that we're going to repurpose for the storage area, and there you can see the tile roof. This is a close-up of the overhang on the front of the house, and this is what we're going to replicate for the overhangs that we propose to put on the new structure. This is a detail of the porch on the back of the house that has these wood columns with the aluminum railing, and then a tongue and groove ceiling, but we don't have a hat over the Juliet balcony, so we're not going to do the tongue and groove. This is that powder-coated aluminum rail that's existing. On the rear of the house, there's a pair of French doors that lead from the master bedroom over to the pool area. We'd like to get as close to that as possible, but those are wood and they're falling apart. So we're probably going to try to use a JELD-WEN product on the new structure, particularly the sliders, and on the windows as well. The hardware we can replicate. It's an MTEC hardware in a bronze finish. We will do that for all the doors. Regarding the lighting, the owners wanted to change from the Spanish Inquisition colonial lighting that seems to be on the house to something a little more modern, and so we're going to propose to do something like this. This is a very, very common light fixture now, and those are lanterns on the inside. It's not gas, they're electric. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Commissioner. Ron Vila, I'm staff with Historic Preservation. Staff finds this application is consistent with the Hyde Park design guidelines. The conditions on the staff report have been addressed. If this is to move forward, it needs to be a caveat that it needs to go through the process, through zoning, through the design exception to get the additional height. I'm here to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone here in the audience to speak for or against this project? Okay, not seeing anyone, we will start with questions from the commissioners on my left.
I don't have any questions.
Hi. Thanks for your presentation. It's a lovely little decorative box. Very nice. I don't know. I don't call them gun hole. I don't know what to call them.
What do you?
Well, it's for overflow.
Yeah.
Yeah, roof drain overflows.
Yes.
And then they're holes so that you can see if the drains got clogged somewhere. Very prevalent.
They're kind of scuppers.
The stucco pattern. I belong to a stucco group
And?
on Facebook. No, I'll
You need to
take a
find better
photograph
ways
of
to
it and
spend your
send it
time.
out and try to find out for you, okay?
Please.
I don't know.
No, nobody could, in
But
my
there's-
office, none of us.
I'm working on a hotel down in Sebring that has a pattern that no one's ever seen before either, and nobody knows what it's called. So we're just we're calling it elephant ear. We're making up our own name. The only question I have is the height. Can you promise that the height of the parapet is going to be tall enough to hide the AC unit on the roof. I'm very concerned about that.
Yes,
Because
and-
it doesn't look like there's any room at all.
Well, but it's also, we're gonna locate it in the middle of the structure, so it's not gonna be close to the edge. So
Right.
you really have to have a drone to see it. Do you see what I'm saying? Or, I mean, Ron and I have gone over it, and he seems to be comfortable with where we're
I'm
locating it.
uncomfortable.
You're uncomfortable, okay.
I just want to make sure that the testimony is that you will make sure that
Yes.
it's not visible from normal public ground
Public right of way,
access.
yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I want to do.
Okay,
And you said the Jeld-Wen doors, is that a clad wood?
clad wood door.
Okay.
And window.
All right. I don't have any other notes. That's all I have.
Where's your water heater located at?
It's gonna be on an exterior wall, like a Rainier hot water heater.
Which wall?
I would assume it's gonna be on the alley side.
Okay. So is there a fence that's gonna screen that, the mechanical, that water heater?
From the alley, no.
Okay. Is that normal, Ron?
On a new structure. it is.
The alleys are coming more online, and they're not just for vehicular traffic, they're for pedestrian traffic as well.
Uh-huh.
So it should be shielded somehow. If this is an inline system, I believe is what
Yeah.
you're saying,
Uh-huh.
it's a small detail there. They could put a fence or maybe shield it with other means,
Okay.
landscaping or something.
Okay.
We're gonna put the trash back there in the 3-foot setback, so all that's gonna be kind of in the same area. We'll do a corral.
But a mechanical unit cannot be within the three-foot setback. It can't be
Well,
within the setback.
Yeah,
As an accessory structure, I do.
it's attached to the house, it's not on the ground.
I know, but can extend
Yes.
into the 3-foot setback? It has to remain 3 foot back from the property line.
Oh.
Yeah, it can't extend into the 3-foot setback.
sure
That's what I'm saying.
about that?
No
Okay.
mechanical unit can,
No
even
problem.
wall-mounted.
We have plenty of room to shift this little baby towards the driveway if we need to.
Okay.
And the same thing on the east side, the north side that shares with the neighbor.
Yeah, I'm thinking-
There's room.
I'm not sure what type of water heater you're talking about that
The
can't go into
Rainier.
that can't go into the storage unit,
Well,
or the storage area.
I don't know, I'd have to talk to the owners. If that's your preference, I'll tell them it goes in the storage unit.
Our preference, I think, it's not just mine, but our preference would be that it wouldn't be exposed to the exterior.
Okay, storage
all.
unit it is, because it is really just gonna be storage.
Yeah, okay, all right.
No, you're.
But it is gonna, but this storage unit is gonna be, air
Heated.
conditioned,
Yes,
right?
heated and air conditioned, that was the concern,
can put a water heater
Yeah.
in space, just insulated.
yeah.
Would it ever be opened up to be part of the living area?
The storage area, no ma'am.
Okay.
Just put a box around it.
Yeah.
Put a box around the building.
How are you planning on the drainage working out of your gun holes?
So those are decorative. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to have gutters per the city of Tampa. The coverage right now is 55% on the whole site, but we're gonna bring it down to under 50 so that we don't have to do the ADS systems that they're requiring now. But the idea is to gutter it and, not gutters, I'm sorry, downspouts that go into the alley. And we've talked to Stormwater about that, and that is their preferred location.
Do we have those gutters and downspouts spec'd somehow? Are they gonna be concealed inside the wall, or are they gonna be on the exterior of the wall?
I don't know.
Okay. That's it, that's all my questions.
Okay. I thought at the beginning we mentioned minor site improvements, but I didn't see a site plan showing site improvements.
At this moment, there aren't any site improvements at the moment. We are gonna try, like I said, we're gonna get it down from 55 to 50, which at that point there will be. The backyard around the pool is a little bit of a hot mess in terms of landscaping and coverage, and that's probably where we're gonna find the 5% is in that back area. So we'll replace essentially hardscape with, a lot of it is concrete right now, with landscaping.
Okay. Those are the only questions I had. Any other questions? Okay, no more questions. You have 5 minutes for rebuttal if you
No,
so
sir.
choose. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to close the public portion of the hearing at this point and move on to discussion.
What were your, besides the design exception for the height,
You're screening of mechanical units,
Yeah, your
design
pivot wall.
exception.
and making, ensuring, I mean, again, I had her testimony that it will be designed in such a way that it can't be seen from a normal height person at ground level.
Gutter spec and location, and then the last one
The
would be
gutter
site
and
improvements.
downspout, to me, you would, I don't know why you wouldn't use, use those clay tile through as a little scupper, and just have it spill into the alley. Do you have to control it? It's going to the alley anyway?
You have to control it according to
You
the
have to,
city of
yeah.
Tampa.
You can't have just a scupper spitting into the alley?
No, sir.
That constant pounding of the
Wow.
water would
Yeah,
disturb,
no, that-
disturb this,
right.
that slab.
God.
Yeah,
You can
over
come
time,
to
it
the
would start
next
to.
meeting.
Then you'll need through the wall scuppers and heads and downspouts. You won't put a gutter. It'll be a through the wall head okay.
And then the only other thing is whatever site improvements, just work with staff.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
And you could probably get away with this small of a roof, you can probably get away with just one in the corner and slope the roof to that corner, cricket the roof to that corner. Okay.
And then water heater, and we want to spec the water heater in, to be on the interior, not on the exterior.
They did not be
I'm sorry,
exposed.
do we really have to put?
We can mandate, well, one, we can mandate that we can't see it from the public
Well, yeah, it just
Yeah.
needs to be screened or interior.
Screened or interior. It can be either or.
and not into
I'm
the
okay
setback.
with it being either or.
Yeah.
And not
Just
into
leave
the
it up
setback.
to them,
Yeah,
because you don't
absolutely.
know what they're gonna use that storage for.
Absolutely.
I'm fine with
All right, I think we got it.
that.
Okay, I'm not doing this one.
Yes, go ahead.
You got all the notes.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All righty. I move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in ARC 25-0000569 for the property at 907 South Fremont Avenue with the following conditions. That the owner figure out what the stucco pattern is. Sorry, I had to put that in. That the applicant verify and certify that the air conditioning unit on the roof will not be visible from a normal height person walking on ground level. That the design exception, that the applicant received a design exception needed for the height of the accessory structure. That the water heater unit be screened or otherwise not visible to the public, and that it not be within the setback. And what was the fourth one that I didn't get?
Gutter specs, yeah.
Oh, that the downspout and the head and the scupper be worked out with staff.
And any site improvements be addressed with staff.
And the site improvements be addressed with staff that reduce the impervious to below 50%. Because, based upon the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Hyde Park design guidelines in the city of Tampa for the following reasons: that it is scaled and massed and detailed appropriately for the house and the neighborhood.
Okay, we have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? I got 2 out of 4. You understand the conditions?
I got
And
it.
we agree?
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
perfect. All right, we have a motion with conditions. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. Good luck.
I
And
move
I'm
that
looking-
we
motion
accept
to-
all documents and exhibits.
Yep, submitted
Second.
documents. Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes and this hearing is adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Okay.